WrestleMania is sometimes there's a dud of a show. Sometimes it's a dud of a show, and that happens. And Saturday night was a little weird because they had the weird video boards doing ads. The Prime bottle in the middle of the ring was a little weird. I know Logan Paul is really into the WWE, and Prime is probably paying zillions of dollars for that sponsor. But come on, I mean, the UFC does it, but it was a little weird. I didn't like the video. I could live with the Prime bottle if there wasn't the video boards. They corrected it for Sunday, and that's all that matters. But WrestleMania overall, I'd give WrestleMania like an A minus because I think for once they didn't have a lot of weird filler matches. Does that make sense? And I don't know if it's because of the Vince McMahon to Triple H change, but it didn't feel like they had any fat on the edges. It felt like for once every match either ended a storyline, continued a storyline, or created a storyline. And there wasn't just these random. There was like that random tag match with Rey Mysterio and company, but like that's an ongoing thing. Trying to think, was there any other weird matches? That women's match was a little odd. That 6-woman tag match. Sorry, but other than that, that like at least furthered the characters of like Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair. Those two obviously on a collision course at some point. But nonetheless, every other match was really good. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley will probably be a match at some point. Every match was great, and the reason I also give it an A minus, little critique here. Not really sure what the Undertaker had to do with the Bloodline storyline. Not sure what Steve Austin was up to. But, that was the only dud. Like Cena coming out and putting Solo Sikoa down. The whole tied together Shield ending. Where Rollins gets hit in the back by the chair for he did it to Roman, and then it still cost Roman in the end. I mean, just talk about just long-term storytelling. That's what wrestling's all about, dude. Storytelling. I think when people talk poorly or talk down to wrestling and wrestling fans and like, oh, it's all fake and blah blah blah. What they don't realize is the same reason women's basketball is now popular or gained popularity over the last 2 weeks is because of storylines. Not because so much the product is all that great or I'm terribly interested in women's basketball. Because there was a story. And all wrestling is trying to do is tell a story. Isn't every sport trying to tell a story? It's all to entertain you. There are sports being played where barely anybody's watching. Like tennis. People don't watch tennis unless it's like a story. You don't care for a UFC pay-per-view event because it's real. You've never cared like, oh yeah, they're really going to beat the shit out of each other. You care because it's a story. In the Super Bowl, they take 2 weeks off to try to tell a story about the Super Bowl. All the storylines. The NBA playoffs, storylines. MLB season, storylines. You know what I mean? So,